I'm a natural.
You're natural. You're born for the camera. Born for the microphone. Chase Rogalski, what is up?
Oh, we're recording?
Oh, we're fucking live, dude. We're live and ready to go. I'm just surprising you.
No countdown.
No countdown. We're having a nice conversation.
I've been
I
good,
figured
man.
to slide it in, nice and easy.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Number 50, big 50.
Dude,
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm just excited to have you back on, man. It's been 46 episodes later of having you back on. So, you're the man, the myth, the legend that's inspired me to do this. So we'll get that out of the way here. I don't think I would have done any of what I'm doing without you.
Well,
getting me to this point.
I mean,
I had the ideas of what I wanted to do, and I had no idea how to execute it. And then you were kind of you put me on. We had one day where we were at dinner, we were catching up, and you were talking about your business.
It was a long dinner, I think.
It was a very long dinner.
We went to
dinner, and then we went to go, I don't know, we went somewhere after that, too. We went to get, I don't think we went and got dessert. We could have got dessert.
I don't remember.
I'm not a dessert person, so I don't know. But we went somewhere after that, and we were just talking about, because I was bouncing ideas off of you for your business, and then you were bouncing ideas for me, and then you introduced me to Gary Vee that night, and that's kind of what just got the ball rolling. And I remember a week or two later, I was like, I made a new account. And you're like, what? I was like, yeah, I made a new Instagram, I made a new everything. I'm starting from scratch. I'm gonna just do it. And here we are, 50 episodes later. So
how does it feel?
How's it feel?
Yeah,
Oof.
I'm gonna interview you.
Yeah. Take over. It's going on your podcast. I mean, I love it. I love coming here in the studio, sitting and talking to people, and just being on the mic and just having conversations. It's fun to me. I thoroughly enjoy it. I've had days where I have a shitty day at work. I come in here and then I just get re-energized, and I'm just enjoying talking to the people, whoever I'm interviewing. Yeah, I love it. I do. I've had days where I had one day I remember where work, they let us go home for something like an online meeting, and you just do it wherever. And I was like, I'm gonna come here and do it. And I sat here all day, and I had the meeting over in the corner of the studio playing, so I could kind of hear it. And I was just editing and doing stuff all day, and I loved it. I was like, this is the best day of work I've had in years. But no, I'm enjoying it.
It's good.
And just playing that patience game, playing that long game.
Oh, that's how it is, man.
Yeah, that's something that I severely have underestimated. Just how persistent, and how you just got to keep grinding. It might take 3, 4, it might take 7 years. You just don't know. You just have to just keep pushing. You almost have to be a tad bit insane.
Oh, for sure. But if you want, if that's your goal, and that's what you want to do with your life. Yeah. It's not insane.
No, it's not. But it does sound insane to people who don't understand.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's not their goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's yo, what? You're going to do this? You're going to drive an hour, record, sit here for 8 hours, do all this editing, and then leave, and then drive an hour back and be yeah. You got 5 views, and be I got 5 views. I got 5. It was awesome.
I know. And it's crazy to see the views slowly go up, and it's exciting to see. You could be at I remember being at 0. It's exciting to get that. But it's way longer than I thought. I don't know how to explain that. There have been times even now, especially now I'm coming up on being a year in, where I could just be driving one day and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm working full time and I'm doing this, and I'm like, am I doing it right? Am I doing the right things? And I've got a million thoughts of is this the and I do want to do this, so it's I keep doing it. I just keep doing it. But there are those moments where I'm like, what is going on?
Well, yeah, I've had that too, especially with Schuer. But I think what helps me to keep on track is to remind myself what is the end goal.
Yeah.
And am I striving towards that?
Yeah.
And then also I will never forget this from Gary Vee when he said this was he goes when I was 24 and I already had a company, $30 million. It was in revenue with his dad's company. Mm-hmm. And he's I decided to go away from that and start my own thing, which is now his media company. Yeah. And he's like, but I was 24. He goes, I thought I was old. He goes, now I'm 43 and I still feel young. And that was literally double his life already.
Right.
So what are you right now? You're 23?
23, yeah.
So, okay, you've been doing this for 1 year. Can you imagine doing it for the next 23 years? And
it's crazy to think about that, honestly.
And you'd be only 46, and you probably would live. I mean, life expectancy is around 80, so you're only that's only half your life.
Yeah, and I think if I could get that by then of being like away from the 9 to 5 and just doing this stuff and like talking and enjoying the people, and if it clicks, it clicks. I mean, that's the end goal for me, is to truly get out of that 9 to 5 life. I think that's very. I don't know. It's
a myth though. That's the thing. With like 9 to 5, it's like you're just not happy from 9 to 5, but you're willing to go from 8 to 8 for something you like.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Yeah. When you find something you like, you're willing to just do it all the time. Yeah. That's like why I don't mind driving up an hour every day.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
that's some dedication. I was shocked. Honestly, I was pretty shocked.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't think it was going to happen?
Honestly, when you got transferred, and I was like, oh man, he's gonna be an hour away. Yeah. I was like, is he gonna? And then like you were still consistent. Still,
I was coming out here 4 days a week.
Yeah,
if not 5.
I was shocked.
I was coming up literally Monday through Thursday, just like hammering out podcasts.
Yeah,
and that was with. I mean, that's the other 2 podcasts included with this one, but still, like it was. Yeah, it's taken time to get into that like schedule and that routine of like figuring out how I'm going to do it. Because at first it was like, let me just get ahead and schedule things and then I get ahead. And I was doing that. And now I'm like, why would I not? Like, what was I thinking of doing like one podcast? Coming up here for driving an hour and doing one podcast. So now I'm like, let me come up here at 3 right after work, schedule 2 or 3 podcasts and knock them all out. And I only have to come up 1 day a week. And then I can do everything else I have to do down there.
Right.
It was starting to get, I mean.
That's smart.
Well, it takes time. Like, I mean, at first I didn't think of that at all. I don't know why I didn't think of stacking my podcast like on a day. But I've started to do that now, and that makes it like a heck of a lot easier because, I mean, I was spending more money than I needed to because it was like I couldn't stay home and cook. I didn't have time to cook. Yeah. I'd get home at like 11 o'clock at night and just pass out and then wake up at 6 and go to work and then repeat the next day. Gym here, eat, buy food. And then I finally started like, all right, I need to start cooking food, saving more money, which, I mean, I was saving money, but I wasn't saving as much as I could. And now I want to save more because that's just money I can use to help this or invest in the stock, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I don't want to segue into that, but like I view like you saving your money as a way to get out of, that's another way you can get out of that 9 to 5 living. Like you can save stockpile money, invest it, or do whatever, and then do your own thing with it.
Yeah.
And that's what I view. So like if this goes south, I got a lot of money in the bank I'm just going to use for something else, you know, but yeah, it took some time, and now I'm starting to get into that routine of like, all right, on Tuesday I'm going to schedule 2 podcasts, boom, do both, and then have Monday off where I can cook and meal prep everything, so that way I don't have to eat out for lunch and dinner. I just eat and bring it to work and all that.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot. But
I mean, that's what it takes. 50 episodes. You know, now you've got a system.
Yeah, I mean, I think we looked this up like before with the podcast. I think it was like 7 episodes is the average length of a podcast. 10 before people give up. We looked up.
I think so.
At least
there was
a year
some
ago.
stat.
At least a year ago, that was like the stat was like 10. We'll just say 10 for the sake of it, the argument. But it was like 10 episodes in, people give up. I remember when I started, and you started around the same time.
Yeah, I think our podcast was like 1 or 2 weeks before that.
Yeah,
I think our very first episode.
It was very close. And I remember thinking like, I just got to get past 10. Like I just got to get past 10, and I just kept pushing and like.
How was it getting to 10?
10 took a while. I mean, it did.
I remember.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
for us too.
Yeah, it was like you start. I mean, we just kind of were talking about this before we got on. Like you start and you're not used to being on the mic, let alone in front of the camera. But you're not used to being in front of the microphone, and you don't think like at least I didn't think I would like sound weird or like get nervous by just being in front of the microphone. But I was.
Oh yeah.
Like the first one I recorded, I was telling you that I did like 11-minute podcast, and it was a festival review on like Lost Lands, and I did 11 minutes, and I like was like like nervous. I was very robotic. Like then on this day, I went and did this, and like at the end of it, I did the 11 minutes. I remember being like full of energy, like whoo, whoo, and I remember like texting like I did it, and you're like what? I was like I did my first one. I was like it's 11 minutes, I did it, and then I did, and that took me like 3 months to work up the courage to do one 11-minute podcast. And then the next 2, I did another one like a month and a half later, and then another one a month and a half after that. And then once I got to like the third one, I started just like doing more. And the first 3 were on my phone. Like if you guys go back and check, like they're not even up on YouTube. I didn't record them or anything. They were up on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
The first good amount are actually just recorded and not videoed. But I don't have an issue being in front of the camera. But I did like at first. It was really weird to like just talk on the phone, like into the phone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also like, I can't imagine. Like, I probably would be uncomfortable doing it alone. Like having someone there to like either feed off energy or something.
Yeah.
Like it makes the whole like it's so much better than just being alone. So
it definitely does make it better. It definitely does make it better. I think the reason I was like, oh, I can do this alone is because like 2 of the main podcasts I listened to, or at least one of the main ones I listened to at that time myself, was like Bill Burr's, and he's just on by himself and he's just rambling for like an hour. And I was like, I mean, if he can do it, I can do it. Right. Which is like totally not the case. Like he's like his own breed. He's a comedian and he just like is talking to himself, like going berserk.
Yeah.
And I was not able to mimic that. I do want to bring, however, that back eventually and do like short segments of my podcast and do like 5 minutes of like, I haven't worked out the kinks yet, but it's been in the works. Something I can do differently is like a 5-minute podcast every Monday to like bring some motivation or something to people, something to give them a little boost for the week. Cause I've moved my podcast now every Tuesday they come out. So it's like, to get that Monday window open, maybe put out something small and like get people talking about life, get them living themselves for every day and all that.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about.
Your Lyfe brand.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's plug it in. That's what it's about. I didn't wear my jacket or anything today, so you don't get it on the video. But yeah, I mean that's what it is. It's just like you guys are doing, your 5-minute clips now about shoes.
Yeah,
you're doing that because you're trying to bring value correlated with your brand at the same sense. And that's what I like. I've got the podcast going, but now let's correlate it a little bit more to what people want. Because I am interviewing people like yourself and others that are living themselves every day, but then let's also provide people with some advice.
Yeah.
But going into that though, your company, I mean, last time we talked, I don't even know if we talked about it on the first podcast, but we might have. I don't know. But for anyways, you are the owner, CEO of Shoewear Co. And
sounds official.
Yeah,
I like it.
That's what it is, man. We got the CEO cup behind you. I don't know if people can see it, but there it is. But so last we talked, I knew it was just starting out. Like I said, I don't know if we mentioned it on the podcast, but how is that process going? How is that moving forward? How's that going for you guys? I know it's going well, but tell the people it's going well.
It's been good. So yeah, just a little backstory. My company, Shoewear, is we sell and provide great deals on shoes. We find shoes that have been discontinued and we sell them at a great price. And also we provide some of what you would call hype or sneakers. And we sell those as well for just a little bit more than retail, just, to keep the lights on. But it's been interesting, to say the least. Like, we've definitely learned a lot.
I mean, I bet. I mean, I know personally, I know nothing about the shoe world. I know it's huge.
Yeah.
And I know it's big. There's a lot of money with it. There's a lot of people selling more shoes. There's collectors, all that stuff. I don't know anything about it, but how did you get involved in that? Because I remember I don't even remember how it started. I don't know how. I would love to hear that story and the listeners to hear that story. But how did you get involved in shoes? Because I don't remember you ever being a big shoe person either.
No, I'm not. I'm not what you would say a typical sneakerhead. I own right now I own 6 pairs of shoes.
Yeah, I think I have maybe 5
and
6.
2 of them my mom gave me. I think one of the 2 that she gave me is a Skechers. So
rocking those Skechers.
But So I've always been involved with business, no matter what business it's been. Ever since I was young, I've either tried. You remember in high school, I would buy broken phones, repair them, and sell them.
Yeah. I was a returning customer.
You were.
I broke 5 phones in high school, and you fixed them. Okay, we're on a tangent though. I gotta go on and tell that story. There was one phone that I don't remember what happened. I think it got ran over by a car. I don't know if you remember this.
No.
Got ran over by a car. First off, it was the second phone I broke in 2 weeks. Second iPhone. I broke the first one at swim practice, fell in my pocket, hit the ground, shattered. Had to get a new one. Got a new one. I got out of the car and I must have fell. No one heard it. And then we came back out later that afternoon and it was just in the road, like ran over. And I took it to you and I was like, just check it out, like see if there's anything you could do. It wasn't smushed or anything. It was weird, but we could see the tire marks on the case, so we knew it was ran over. But you like took it apart, you checked it out, and you're like, yeah, man, there's nothing, and you just go take it to Apple. And I was like, oh, all right. So I took it to. You're like, take it to Apple, tell them this and that, and see if they can do anything for you. And I was like, all right, I'll try it, but they're gonna know something's wrong with it.
Yeah.
And I took it in, and I say exactly what you say, and they take it in the back, and like lo and behold, the guy comes out and he's like, yeah, there's like one of our issues, one of the wires, something came loose, so we'll just give you a whole new phone. And I was like, what? I remember being like, excuse me, but I don't know if you remember this.
No, I don't.
Dead ass. And then I call you, I'm like, Chase, they're giving me a whole new phone. I call off my new phone. I'm like, dude, I just got a new phone. Like, what the hell? And you're like, yeah, I just unplugged one wire, and then and I just sent you on your way. And I was like, you did what? You're like, yeah, I just like cheated with this wire, and I knew they would say it was their fault or something. And I was like, this is crazy. Like I
did not remember that at all.
I swear to God,
I don't think I've ever been that smooth.
No, I swear to God, I remember being like blown away that I was getting a new phone. They were like, yes, actually, it is one of our issues. We'll just give you a whole new phone. I was like, okay, like.
Hey man, well, I'm glad I could help you out,
literally.
But I don't remember that. That's crazy.
One of the funniest stories. Finesse the Peach Mac store.
Apparently, but yeah. So I've always been involved with business, and ever since I was young, just doing that. So when I went up to college, I was playing baseball in Illinois. I met Landon. We had a great time, and
Landon is his business partner.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, but
and
we want Landon on the show one.
Oh, for sure.
I know he's a big sneakerhead, and he could.
Oh, he goes into like so he. That's why we were making such a great pair. Is because I'm all business and he's all sneakers. So like I take care of like what he doesn't need to take care of,
and he does right,
and
he does what you don't need to do.
And well, I don't know, but so
right, exactly. It would like you each
complement
each other's weaknesses, right?
Exactly.
Right.
But so I don't know. Fast forward, so we meet. We split up. Our season ends. I go back home. He's back in Missouri, and we're talking. And he's like, "Yeah, I want to come back down." And he had no cash. And so I was like, "Okay, well, like, and like this is like I was just starting getting the Gary V, and Gary V's like promoting. He's like, "Yo, like, go to Craigslist, go to the free section, grab the free stuff." Put it back on Craigslist for $5. People were gonna buy it for $5.
Yeah.
And I was telling that, and he's like, "Nah, I don't want to do that." And I was like, "Well, what about like shoes? Like, why don't you go and like get shoes from like that are on sale? Look them up, go online, and see if there's any margin." And he started doing that, and he found a few pairs, and the next thing you know, he got enough money to come down here, and I think it was like Christmas or something. He came down for a week. And then we just started talking, and I was like, man, that's like crazy. But like, as a businessman, I was like, that's not scalable. I was like, the man's just like going to like, I don't know where you went to, like Foot Action or something, and was just like looking at him. I was like, man, you'd have to have like 100,000 people to really like get it like massive. But then I kept looking, and I was like, you know, the sneaker industry is predicted to be like 30. I think it's like 30 billion by 2030.
No way. That's huge.
Yeah. And I was like, man, why? I was like, why is it so? And then I kept looking, and I was like, oh, okay. So now there's different parts of sneakers. So then there's the hype shoes, and so then we got into hype shoes and looking at like the resale margin on that. So like you could buy a shoe for $200, and you win it off a raffle. And you spend $200, and this just happened. Like this happens every weekend. Shoe was $130, someone got it and sold it for $600. Like
that's
just like
nuts.
That. Yeah.
So there's these online raffle sites that auction off.
Yeah.
Shoes.
So Nike has this app called Nike Sneakers, and it's just like you go on there. It tells you when they're gonna release. You like, okay, here's your shoe. It's pretty limited. You go and you like look up on eBay. There's other websites like StockX and Go.
Yeah.
And you look, you just type in what the shoe is, and people already have been buying them before it's been released, and people are buying them for, you can just see your margin. Some shoes, will be $130 retail, and like I said, like $600. So then like easy $500, and all you do is you click the one button, and then let's say you miss out, you lose no money.
Right. Yeah, your business goes away.
Yeah, so there's no what is it? Loss. There's nothing. You just click one button.
So can anyone do this?
Anyone can do this.
Anyone can do these bids.
Anyone can go on Nike right now. I'll show you. Anyone can go on the Nike sneakers app. Right. So a shoe just released today that I didn't get. It's probably $400, $300, and probably $200 profit. Once that loads. Okay. It's loading. But anyways, yeah. So it was super interesting. And I was like, I think we can do this. And so then I started talking to Landon, and I was like, yo, what if you go to like multiple stores and you start running these routes? And he's like, yeah, I'll start doing that. So we start looking, and then one thing led to another. Like, we got it so refined while he was up in Missouri. He would drive 3 hours, go to Kansas City, hit up all.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like, he would wake up at 6 on his off day from school, drive 3 hours to Kansas City, hit every single store in Kansas City. Took him like 8 to 12-hour days. Drive 3 hours back, list all the shoes, and package and ship them out. And it was rinse and repeat every
couple
2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, every 2 weeks we had it on the system. And while he was doing that, I was tracking everything, the profits, and we kept scaling it. And then he was like, yo, like, I want to get out of Missouri. Like, it just doesn't fit me. And we figured out a plan. He dropped out of college and drove last 2 years ago in July.
Wow.
And lived with me for a year.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And we did the same thing, rinse and repeat. We designed routes. Now we have 2 routes going once a week.
So you guys are interesting, and I don't want to take too much away from the business part of that we were just talking about, but I know your schedule, and I think it's crazy that you guys are like, so he's working and doing the shoes, and I know you're working, doing the shoes, and going to school.
Yeah.
Like, it's just this crazy schedule to me.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we both have crazy schedules, but
Yeah,
yours particular, I'm like, whoa, that's a lot. Like,
Yeah.
you're only doing this a third of your time, technically. To
I'm-
look at it, I
yeah,
mean, to
it's
look
like
at it at a
2 days a week.
yeah,
is usually
as the
what
way I
about.
just said it, like,
Yeah.
you're doing a third of your time.
Yeah.
And then you're finishing up school. Like, how is it, like, how important is that time management for you guys? That's something I want to highlight and, like, get to people that, like, it's possible. You just have to have the discipline to, like, this and this and this.
Yeah. Oh, it's crucial because, like, right now, like, neither one of us do this full time, and have been able to topple over $200,000 in sales we went from $100,000 in our first year, being 2 states away, not even seeing each other.
That's scary.
And then he moved down, and we just doubled. We went from 80, I think it was like 89,000 first year we started, and then we're at 200,000, and we're just gonna keep going up. So, but I work at a gas station with him, and go do full-time school at computer science. So yeah, but the time management has to be, like, down to every minute, basically, of, like.
So do you guys sit, like, once a week, or do you sit at the beginning of the month and you, like, plan everything out in a sense, or, like, how is it, like, when did you get on that schedule, and, like, do you plan it out, or has it just been the same schedule? Once you figured it out, it was like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is what we're sticking to, and the people in our lives are gonna have to fucking understand, like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. So we would eventually, like, every so often, we would have these talks, and it would just go way too long, and we'd be talking at work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd be like 3 hours just chilling at work, and he just started his shifts, and so we'd be talking, and but we would hash out literally everything that needs to be done, how it needs to go, and we'd write it all down, and then we try it out, and then we'd be like, the next week we'd be like, yeah, that's good, and then we'll just set it in stone, and we'll just let it run.
Yeah.
And then like usually it's me because I'm the overseer, and like obviously he's more like running the operation,
Mm-hmm.
so I just oversee what he's doing, and I'll be like, like that needs to be changed, like that can be tweaked, like our YouTube videos, like what we're posting, like they're not getting that much audience retention, like that needs to be changed. And so then I'll sit down and be like, look, hey, here are the numbers, like stuff needs to change. I'll show them and be like, yep, that's good, let's do it. And then we'll just change, and then we'll try it out for a week, and then
see how it does, and
if the results are better, then we just continue. But like, it's just the time management has to be, you have to stick to something, but then also watch your performance while you're trying that out. And then if you see any dips in performance based off whatever key factors you want to run, if it's analytics on a YouTube video, or is it, profit margins, you have to adapt. And so we're just able to constantly adapt.
It's
as
that
we
adaptability and like pay attention. What's not pay attention, but it's
being
awareness. It's the awareness that like, okay, this isn't working. Let's try this, and we try it for a little bit, and then you're paying attention to the fact that like it is or isn't working, and then executing off of that, and you're pivoting, you're adjusting, but like it's all that coming together. But I think at the most of it, it's that awareness to be like, we have to change this, or it's working, let's keep it up, and then it's not working now, let's change it again. It's
more of a willing to change no matter what, like
to not be set in, you're like so rigid and stuck in your ways.
Yeah, because if like sneakers, like for instance, just die tomorrow, we'd be like, okay, cool, let's do high heels, like like it's fine, like our system is so, you know what I mean, like
I love that. Mike just went out, sorry.
Yeah, like it's so weird because like I'm very passionate about like the sneakers and like what we're doing with athletic shoes and the hype shoes, but like if it all disappeared and be like, okay, and like the next new thing, like we're like high heels or like water shoes, like all right, let's do it, like let's get into it. What do we need to do? I mean, so
that's great. Yeah, I mean that is in general, that's how it's needed for any business, because you just gotta pivot and roll with those punches and like move where the audience is and yada yada, all that stuff. Even on social media, for instance, like if like with the emergence of TikTok, we see that like, okay, we need to do more on TikTok now than we did before. Before it was Instagram, probably I think was the biggest one. I at least in my eyes, you could do a lot on Twitter, maybe Facebook. I wouldn't really talk. I don't do much Facebook, but then TikTok came out of nowhere and was like, we gotta do shit. We gotta do shit there. It's the most organic. It's everything else. But yeah, getting on that of just pivoting and going with what you have to do to do what you're doing and stay afloat is crucial. I mean, it's so important to like not be rigid. I think that's something that like a lot of us get stuck on, including myself. As of like recently, I've realized that I can get pretty like stuck in my way of like, oh, I'm doing it this way and only doing it this way. And I've recently noticed that like in the past month and a half, and I've tried to focus really a lot on like, okay, just go with like roll with those punches and adjust and like maybe do things differently. Like for instance, like my schedule is getting hectic with, like we were saying earlier, with doing something every day. So I was like, I gotta change it up. Like I'm killing myself by literally going from waking up at 6 a.m. and going to bed at 12 every day. Like that's just killing me. I can't do that. I may be able to do it once a week. Can't do it 4 days a week.
No.
And then, I also had to adjust. I adjusted my schedule to where I was doing work for 4 days and then hanging back for 2. Like I was taking my Saturday, Sunday to just like relax. But like Monday through Friday was like go.
Yeah.
So like it's crazy, but it's important. And I've realized that too, because I was very much like, I'm gonna do it this way and keep doing it this way. And then I was like, okay, now I'm sick like all the time. Like what's going on?
Yeah.
Like something,
But yeah, time management. It just because of our hectic schedules, it was like the number one thing that we had to get down and solidify. And like before we even started anything, I'm just like by nature, I'm just like a planner. And so like just knowing that like I saw how much hectic is going to happen.
Yeah.
We just needed to make sure that everything was written in stone. But
I mean, I think that's something that people could take away from this, is that planning ahead for anything really, obviously sometimes the plans might go haywire, but to have a plan and be ready for that ahead of time makes things like 100 times easier
Oh yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
Like in anything. Like I can remember like finals, other exams, holidays, like anything you can think of in life. Like it's annoying to plan, but like if you plan it, it just runs so much more smoothly. And like like a bump might come up the road, but like if you've had that plan, like you're at least set to do it. Like I can remember a time in college when I had this like 12-page paper due.
Oh, you told me.
I told you this story before, right?
Yeah.
But I had like planned it, where I had time to do it and yada yada yada, and I didn't have anything else around it. It wasn't like I had that paper and then like an exam the next day and an exam before that. I would have been screwed. But I planned it, and like, as you know the story, my 12-page paper at page 6, the like computer at the complex we were at, they like redid like a whole reboot of like everything, and it was just gone, like all 6 pages. And I was like, God damn it, I'm freaking out. But I had the time to where I could still make up that and like get it done. I got it done and turned it in. I got 95. Like it works out. But like planning didn't make me like panic and go like crazy and then fail, But that's something, at least that's my real life example for people. Tell me more about, because you do, like you were saying, you do the business side and you do the behind the scenes a little bit. I'm curious on like what's the behind the scenes actions of like building your website and building up that stuff, because I know you're just recently and I know you're a computer science major.
Yeah.
But like I don't know nothing about it. I'm still trying to build my own website and stuff like that. Like, tell me about the behind the scenes of that and how that goes.
So do you just specifically like building the website, or what do you mean by just like the behind the scenes in general? Like what I do?
Go for it.
So
I'm all ears.
So what I do is, while Landon is out there sourcing shoes, which means just like going to get pairs by just buying I'm making sure that when he sells a shoe, that he knows that how much to sell it at what price, how much each platform is going to take from, and then what we're going to get from it. So like basically what I think of it is like, not only do I oversee, but I also provide Landon with just tools.
Okay.
So like I designed a spreadsheet where he can input everything in the shoe, how much we sold it for, where we sold it on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, where we sell everywhere. And, once he puts that in, it makes a correct calculation depending on which platform, minus the fees and stuff. And then you're like, okay, minus the shipping. And then, next sell will be your profit. And so then, I have another tab that shows our overall profit margins, what shoes are selling, what platforms are performing what better, which platforms to focus on. And like, so I just mostly provide him with tools and then oversee the costs, and then as well the kind of where we're going and like what we need to do to get to the next level. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's like a lot of more mental than physical. Besides, like, obviously, like designing websites. But I mean, I don't want to talk about that because that's just like, I wouldn't be able to do that just because, I don't know. Like, generally, people don't do that as well as oversee everything because they don't have that technology background of like computer science. Like, they're not able to build a website. Yeah. So
I understand. I'm going through that right now.
Exactly. But I don't know. So like obviously, like as well as overseeing that, like I'm also custom building our websites.
So how does your computer science degree fall into the business side of what you're doing?
Nothing.
Like,
Absolutely nothing.
But like
I've learned nothing from my computer science degree.
But most degrees, it feels that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't recommend going to college.
Oh, let's get into this.
100%.
Let's go right into this. I'm on board with this conversation.
Yeah.
I actually fully believe that as well.
Yeah.
I think in today's day and age, if you want to make a living, you want to be able to do something, you can learn it through the internet.
From a business standpoint, the ROI, the return on investment of going into debt with, let's say, what, 40 grand is probably
I'd say that's pretty average, yeah.
$40,000. Usually jobs don't pay that much. And two, I don't know, a computer science major that that is going to pay well, it's not worth it. especially now, especially as tech companies don't even care, like if you have a degree or not. Like they're not even filtering for degrees.
Really?
Yeah, like Elon Musk came out, Tesla said like, yeah, we don't care if you lived under a rock, but if you know how to, build a rocket ship, or like, you're an expert at this thing, well, like we're gonna hire you. So I think because of the internet, college is becoming more obsolete, and it's getting more expensive every year.
Yeah, it seems like more and more people now are going for the so experience of it rather than what it was originally intended. I mean, I know me personally, I didn't feel like I gained much from it. I felt like I'm here, I'm getting decent grades, I'm getting a marketing degree, and I could have learned all this online. As a matter of fact, I don't think that, I know for a fact at my school they did not even touch on online or social media marketing at all. So it was almost like, what is the whole point?
Yeah.
Like you're still wanting to do like paper and it still is partially important, but like it's just going more and more obsolete. Like there's some things that were good, like marketing research, branding, but like it just.
4 years of it though.
No,
and
first off, the first 2 years are bullshit.
Oh, exactly. Like Gen Ed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're whole. You might as well. Don't get me started. The first 2 years are just absolutely stupid. You don't even learn anything new. At least I didn't feel like I did. I feel like I just took the same high school classes and learned like maybe one more thing. Like we just went into tiny more detail about the mitochondria of the cell, and that was about it. What else? Like there was nothing else in biology that was new. And then you just don't. You're like, I remember just questioning like why I was here the first years. Like why am I here? Like what does philosophy have to do with my major? Love the class, fine, got a good grade, but like it doesn't have anything to do with my degree. I think there's a lot of people like that. Like
I think people are getting smarter about it too. I don't think a lot of people are gonna fall into that mindset.
I think for the majority of majors it doesn't matter. I think the only majors it does matter is like more like the institutional ones.
I'd say like
of like
medical
and most science ones.
Law.
Probably law too, yeah.
And then like I don't know. I'd have to at least computer science, definitely not.
Most of the main science like
maybe
biology,
some engineering. Oh yeah.
Engineering, physics, stuff like that.
STEM maybe, but definitely not computer science. I don't recommend it at all. Especially I was more passionate about building websites and building.
They don't teach you like any of that.
No, I haven't got. There's not even there's one class.
Yeah.
And it's like web design. It's some web app class, and they don't offer it every year.
They don't offer it.
No, so I'm like, this is useless. Like this is the one class that I wanted. The one elective I wanted.
It's like we had a social media class, and it wasn't even offered in the business building.
Yeah.
It was offered in like the social arts building or something.
I don't know. It's just
it was made no sense.
Very frustrating, but I don't agree.
No, I do think that more and more nowadays, if you have your mind set on what you want to do and you have certain things you like, you could really start to focus that. And it might maybe 2 years of college, then you figure out like this isn't for me, and I could do it this and this way better. I mean, that's granted. Like
or trade school.
Those
are coming.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could learn anything you want on the internet, and a lot of that stuff that if you want to run your own business, you want to do your own stuff and not work that 9-to-5 life, you could do through the internet. I think it's just a matter of you learning that time.
Especially for entrepreneurship.
It comes back to that time management, because you're going to have to figure out a time to sit down and do it. You have to still work. You have to still maybe go to school if your parents are making you go. That's always some people's scenario. And like you just have to figure out a time to do it, like when to sit down and learn it and do it. Like me, for instance, and I'm just using me because I just can give worldwide examples, is like I'm doing this and I'm working full time, and I'm also trying to learn photography on the side because I enjoy it and I want that to be part of what I'm doing. So like I'm online, like if I can do like 30 minutes a day, I just like looking at a video and learning like, oh, the aperture does this, and you want to do this in this setting for this. Like you just like slowly learning more and more as time goes on. And it's annoying because I want to learn it now. Like it is something you have to work on. We're back to that patience we were talking about earlier. But like it is annoying to me to be like, I almost get overwhelmed. I'm like, there's so much I want to learn. And I'm like, I just gotta relax and like just slowly learn more and more every little day and just niche and pick away at it. But eventually over time you'll get out of that, like you get out of what you're doing at this current point in time and get into what you want to do. It's just like you gotta have that patience to just do it, which is hard, like we were saying earlier.
Right.
It is hard. I mean, I could imagine with you doing school and working at the gas station,
so
you're like, I don't want to be at these two things. I want to just be like, I could be making $1 million selling shoes right now, and I'm not.
Yeah, but to go back on, if people out there are going to take our advice, which some do, some don't, but I would recommend, if you're going to just like, you know, not go the original route, or so, and you're going to learn online, it's more about not just watching someone else do it, but actually doing it yourself and reinforcing learning. So like, for instance, your photography,
Yeah.
like instead of just watching videos about
You gotta
ISO,
go out and do it.
yeah, like
Wow.
literally just like mess with your camera at
Yeah.
every single ISO.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot, but but like, yeah, just keep playing, and that's how you learn. Like that's how I like
That's what
most of my
with
coding
this,
works.
With this,
Yeah.
with this podcast, it was a learning
trial and error.
process.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
You've learned so much for 50 episodes.
Yeah, and vice versa. I'm sure you guys have learned. Your like I was
Yeah.
saying to you, I've been. I mean, I actually am an avid listener of podcasts as well as a person that does them now. But like, I listen to podcasts now, and I try to like take away like, hey, they did
Their
this,
style.
they did that a little bit, and like why are they successful? Oh, they did this. Oh, they bring this amount of energy. They're getting like something like that, and I'm adjusting how I'm doing it. I'm like, I was telling you, for instance, the first thing I would say is like at the beginning, I wasn't like doing any research. I'm just like, hey, you want to come on the podcast? Yeah, I'll come on. And then like we were like 10 minutes before, we write down like 5 points we want to talk about eventually, and then we just talk, and it was working. But when I went back and listened to some of them, I was like, damn, these are kind of boring,
yeah,
and they're not as open discussion as I wanted. So then I was like, now I'm approaching my guests that I have on, and I'm like, hey, what do I need to learn about what you do so that I can present maybe a better question, or we can at least have a better discussion. And that's helped a little bit in the most recent ones, which you guys will probably should hear by the time this one comes out. And then, I'm also adding some more stuff to it too, but we'll get to those secrets another time. I don't want to give too many of those secrets away.
There you go.
You
got to leave it. You got to leave them,
you
you can only give them a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy. I'm just remembering me going back to like the very first episodes and like our very first YouTube videos, and like how awkward.
It's cringy to watch your old stuff. It is. I mean, but everyone's. That's the thing, is like everyone's. I can't think of anyone that's been supernatural the first time. There are some, but I can't think of any off the top of my head that like just perfectly pick up the mic. I mean, even like Joe Rogan, for instance, talks about how like shitty his podcasts were at the beginning, like how absolutely horrible they were. He's like, go back and listen to them; they're horrible.
Well, it makes me wonder, how long has he been doing his podcast? Do you know?
He's at like 1,600 episodes.
But so what is that? Once a week? Is that?
He sometimes puts out 2 a week. Definitely for sure one.
Okay.
But I think he's been doing it for literally over 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, think about this.
Yeah.
Once a week is, if you did once a week, it's 52. He's at 1,500.
Yeah.
So let's do like quick math here.
I don't know. So if anyone out there is trying to give up, Joe Rogan's has been doing this for a decade, and he just blew up to the point where he's forever.
Yeah,
fine.
He's got the big money now. He's got fuck around money, as he says. But like, he probably was doing more than 2 a week. I would be willing to bet, because we just did the math.
It also helped, though. I mean, he
didn't. At the pace of 1 a week, he would have to been doing this for 30 years, which he definitely hasn't been doing it for 30 years.
I think I've heard some of it. I sometimes watch his clips. I can't watch a 4-hour-long podcast.
I don't watch them, but I do listen to the full. Like, I'll put it in the car and just listen.
Ugh, I can't do it.
There's a few of them that are just like, I like the fact that I can listen and learn something. So sometimes I am like, I'll look at some and I'm like, I want to just learn something. Like, I want something that's gonna like stimulate my mind while I'm learning. There's a couple that have come out that are really good, where they just constantly are challenging like new things. Joe Rogan has comedians on sometimes. He has like crazy in-depth people. But like, if you want something that's like gonna make you think, I think like Lex Friedman's podcast is one of the best that's out there.
I've seen Lex on Joe Rogan's, and
he's
very interesting.
He's very smart.
Yeah,
and he just
MIT.
He just has more people come on, and like.
And it's weird because he's not like entertaining. Like, he's pretty bland off the bat. I mean,
but it's like very intellectually stimulating. Yeah, it's like you're listening. You're like, because I'm like a basic schmuck. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? Like, AI, this is. It's going to be able to do this, and this, and then like the physics of like astral projection or something. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's nuts. And but his podcast tackles a lot of topics like that. And he has a lot of scientists on, and they just talk about things that normally I would never hear about. So
Right.
it's like, oh, this is crazy.
Mhm.
Like the AI systems and stuff like that, and how
Yeah.
they intricately work and how they're programmed and all that stuff. Like that stuff I have no idea about, but I'm intrigued to learn about it. Eventually, one day he'll be on the podcast.
I hope.
That'd be
That'd be
awesome.
awesome.
I would have
That'd
a
be
lot of questions. I would be like lost. I'd be like, can you explain that again?
Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah, one more time. So we've talked about how you're a crazy schedule and you have 3 things that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know about some gas station stories because I'm sure you've got stories from work, just as everybody does. But
So,
your
I don't
work
know.
in particular.
Yeah, I
would
don't
be
know
crazy.
if you know that. Okay, so not only do I live in Florida, so you have the Florida people. I live in Florida and I work at a gas station, so you only get. So it's just a wombo combo of stories. I've had. I mean, off the top of the head, Landon came in. This is his first night working alone. Person came in from jail, arguing. It was this girl with her mom, and she just got released. And then she was stabbed and lifted up her shirt, and there was just duct tape.
Oh my god!
And it was just this huge
duct
tape
tape
gash. And they did nothing, and they were just trying to, and they wouldn't leave. I've had that. I've had a person flip out on me because they thought I was overcharging them on gas because when they took off the handle and they turned, apparently the hose hit mid-grade instead of regular, and they were flipping out, thought I was scamming them. I had to call the cops on them.
Jesus Christ!
They wouldn't leave.
They would not like California gas prices.
It was
if that's the case.
People have left their cars with drugs and money in them, just abandoned. Had to call the police on that. Just so many weird individuals. I'm trying to think of one.
Do you have a newfound respect for gas station workers?
Oh, for sure.
And late night workers?
Please, anyone, just respect. Like, okay, number one of the worst things that happens is if your gas pump is not working, it's probably you, not the gas pump. Just gonna lay it out there. Just take a second and go. Maybe it was just the way I was putting my credit card in was probably upside down, because I've had a lot of people come in and it was upside down. And just try it again. Just try it one more time before coming
different
in.
way.
Yeah, just
a different way than what you're doing.
Yeah, or just slow down.
Don't try the same way.
Like, but yeah, I mean, I've had a very profound respect for, but it doesn't help that just the location of the gas station, because we are right across the street from a how would you say, it's like a rehab facility for the people that have either dementia or schizophrenia or something. So they're so they're off. A bunch of them they're off. So they'll have like weird stories and stuff, and they'll do weird knickknacks and I don't know. It's just like, I don't know if it's just my gas station stories or it just happens at every gas station.
I feel like it happens at every gas station to an extent.
But man, it's like I don't know. I can't go maybe every other shift I have a story, and like me and my girlfriend's family, like, we'll have dinner and then they'll be like, so any stories? And we're like, well, let's see here. On Wednesday this happened, Thursday this happened, Friday this happened, and Saturday I had to call the cops. So it was a pretty good day.
I feel like that's so entertaining though. Like okay, this is gonna sound super weird, but like your job sounds so much more interesting than so many other jobs out there, because you have these stories to go tell people, and like, yeah, it's shitty, it's not like what you'd like to be doing, but it's like you're making the most of it and you're getting these stories out of it that you can tell anyone. Like at any dinner party, you could tell this like ridiculous story.
Oh,
and people are gonna be like, holy shit. And you can make it funny, you can work it, you can almost make it into like a little comedy bit and like slowly morph it in like a better story, and like till people are cracking up. Like I go to my job and I'm like bored. I'm bored out of my mind, and I'm like, I have not like I feel like a loser because I'm like, I have nothing to like, there's nothing exciting happen. Like one day we caught someone stealing, and like that was the most exciting thing I've had. We like caught the lady stealing. I've never like stopped anyone from stealing. I've never really seen anyone steal, but the lady like did it
What did they
right
steal?
in front of me. She did it right in front of me. She was stealing a bunch of like
A lawnmower?
No, I
Oh,
wish.
damn.
She was stealing like she had her baby in her carriage, and she put the product in the bottom of the carriage, and then like covered it up with a blanket. And I like just kind of like signaled to like the people working. I was like, that I was servicing the store, and she was stealing literally right in front of me. Like I was like, I was like,
were you like
need any
merched
help?
up and everything?
Yeah,
like,
I'm in my uniform and
Yeah.
everything. So I'm like, what? She's doing it right in front of me, which is crazy. And she put like 3 or 4 things down there.
People are crazy, man.
Oh my gosh. They said this morning, actually, this is something that happened this morning, even though it's not super exciting, but I guess this morning, someone like ran in and took like 3 of like the $300 trimmers and like just took all 3, put them in a cart, ran out, put them in the back of the truck, and just sped off.
Like, what? Like, how
It's
do you
just
have
nuts. It's
the
just the balls
audacity?
to do it is
Yeah.
crazy to me.
But
I don't know how they must. I've never been in that circumstance where I'm that desperate to steal, but I mean, the only one crazy story I've ever heard was when I was an intern for this company. They did a bust in this warehouse in Tampa that they said was stacked to the top. All around, all 4 walls were stacked to the top of just product that was stolen. They had a crew that was like going around all of Tampa and like just hitting these stores, taking a bunch of stuff, and then bringing it to the warehouse, and they would just sell it back online.
Yeah.
Cheaper and just make the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did. I'm not at liberty to say who I work for, but we did have somebody in our company that got caught stealing.
Like major.
Like he was like a rep like me, going into the stores and making sure things were good and selling and yada yada. And every day he was taking like one thing.
Yeah.
And just but his girlfriend, he had his girlfriend selling them. So he would bring them home and she would sell them. That's how they got caught.
Yeah.
Stupid, but just crazy. But I mean, like, and I just shared 3 stories, but normally my days are boring. There's no stories to be told. So it's like, yeah, those are 3 out of like 1,000 days.
Yeah. Like one. All right. I'll tell you. Let's hear. Let's do that story, I guess.
Yeah, I want one story before we get out of here.
So we this is like 3:00 in the afternoon. Just started my shift. Guy comes in. He's FaceTiming his wife. And he comes in, and the wife's like, "Oh, can you do this? Can you do that?" Like, and he's all annoyed. He's like, "Oh, if you want me to do that, like, I'm gonna need this to happen." And like, I like heard it, and I was like, "Wow, that sounded like he wanted, like, like we wanted like sex or something."
Sex.
Yeah,
You wanted that.
You
wanted that Glug 9000.
I guess so. And I was like, okay, like that's a little forward, but all right. And then so he comes up and he wants some smokes, and I'm turned around, I'm getting the smokes, and he's like, "Oh, that's much better." And I turn back around, and his phone is on the counter, and I'm scanning the items, and I look at his phone, and it's just his wife's tit. Just out, and she's just playing with it, and I'm like,
people are weird, man.
looking at it, and I'm like scanning, and I'm giving him money, and we're making eye contact, and then he looks down, and then he makes some more comments, and then I ring him up, and he leaves, and I made sure that he didn't see me like look at his phone because I was wearing a hat, and he leaves, and he goes, "The cashier says thank you," and then walks out. And I was like, "What?"
You're like, "I don't fucking say thank you."
Yeah, I was like,
"I want to see your nasty ass."
I was like, what? I was so shocked. I was like, "Why?" I'm like, people just do that? Like,
dude, people are crazy. People can be out there when it comes to that stuff. I don't know. I mean, like, to each his own. Like, I wouldn't never put
I don't know.
my significant other on FaceTime, like on the. I would hold. Maybe I'd hold the phone.
Well, like,
I wouldn't put it down and
exactly.
be like, "Hey, everybody at the table, like, check
like,
it out."
Even if like your significant other did that, like, it'd be like, phone's up, or like, "Hey, like, I'm in the store, like, hold on for 5 seconds.
Have some respect.
Yeah.
I'm
like,
in the store."
Or maybe even just flip the phone over.
Exactly. He did it on purpose. He was trying to act cool.
Yeah.
Some 30-year-old man trying to be cool.
I wish he was 30. He was like 48.
Even worse.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But crazy stories, man.
Jeez. We probably could go on stories all day, but thank you for coming on, dude. Appreciate
54
you.
minutes. Wow, that
had
flew
a good
by.
time. It flew by.
Yeah.
I know. Unfortunately, we got to stop it. I got to get on for the next podcast here. But thank you for coming on.
Of course.
Definitely want
It
to
was
have
a
you on
pleasure.
again. I want to have Landon on. Maybe we'll do a
we'll make it
three-way
happen
at some point. Get him
Sounds
on
good.
here too.
Yeah.
All right.
We got some stories.
For sure. Peace.
See ya.